Welcome to Adjusted Reality, a podcast series trusted by the adjusted and brought to you by the Foundation for Chiropractic Progress. Today, we are going to connect with the Fittest Man Alive as he outlines how you can get started in your fitness journey or level up with your fitness journey. Stay with me as we speak to CrossFit Games champion Rich Froning. As the winner of 4 consecutive CrossFit Game men's titles, 2011 to 2014, Rich Froning dominated the title of Fittest Man on Earth like no one before him. The former firefighter from Cookeville, Tennessee, took up CrossFit in 2009 and made his Games debut a year later, finishing second overall. In 2014, after his 4th consecutive win, Rich stepped away from the individual competition to focus on his growing family. In 2015, Rich still found his way to the top of the Games podium 4 more times as the anchoring member of Mayhem Freedom, champions of the Affiliate Cup in 2015, 16, 18, and 2019. Rich is the author of First, What It Takes to Win, where he shares many of his methods for success, including his unwavering faith, strict workout schedule, and at times, not so strict diet. His inspiring story is also told in the 2015 documentary Froning, available on Netflix. Rich currently lives in Cookeville with his wife, Hillary, and his 3 beautiful children, Lakeland, Trice, and Violet. Welcome to the show, Rich.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, this is really great. For the audiences that are just listening to the podcast, you will hear in the background, we are in the environment. That's right. We're in the CrossFit environment. It's a beautiful gym. So if you want to see what's going on behind Rich, you got to come to the video portion of this podcast. Listen, as a CrossFit champion, I want you to take us back to the beginning. What actually prompted your fitness journey and why CrossFit?
Oh man, we're going back a long time now. So I grew up playing baseball, playing sports as much as I could. Super competitive family. I'm one of, on my mom's side alone, I'm one of 32 first cousins. 25 of us are boys. So any type of family get together when we were kids turned into some type of competition. I now realize that our parents were not actually trying to figure out who was the most dominant cousin. They were actually trying to tire us out. I've now learned that as a parent, but at the time, we always thought, hey, they're trying to see which one of us is the best. And so, just that competitive nature growing up, and it's just kind of who I was and what I was brought up in. My parents were never super pushy in sports whatsoever, always super supportive. But, that I think just came naturally as the competitive side of it. So I had that, played a little bit of college baseball, got into college baseball, realized didn't have that same love for the game that I once had. And then was a firefighter, like you said. And here in Cookeville, they had a program where you worked as a full-time firefighter and they paid your tuition to Tennessee Tech. And so I was getting my undergrad, kind of bouncing around. Honestly, I thought I was just going to stay a firefighter and, get a degree, and then it would help out with, promotions and different things throughout my career. And kind of got it into exercise and into exercise science at that point. And actually, it was my senior year, my last semester of my senior year. The professor that I had was the head strength and conditioning coach. And he was like, you're a military, or you're a firefighter, and a lot of military police fire at that time did CrossFit. He was like, you should try this out. And so I actually have the textbook where I wrote CrossFit.com in the front cover of the textbook. And I guess they say, as they say, the rest is history. And so in June of 2009 is when I started. And I think I just liked it because, there was a competitive aspect of it. Honestly, I didn't know anything about the CrossFit Games until probably about 6 months into it. And then we started watching these videos and we were like, hey, me and my cousin who I started CrossFit with, like, we should try this next year. And so, that was 2010 was the first year I competed.
I first have to give kudos to your mom, because clearly having that many boys around must have been a lot of energy.
Yeah. Well, luckily, my mom, we joke because we moved from Michigan to Tennessee. My mom is the only one of her 9 brothers and sisters that has any less than 3 kids. My aunt has 6 boys.
Oh, wow.
So yeah. So it was just me and my sister here. But anytime we went back to Michigan or any family get-togethers, it was chaos.
I bet
And
it
now I
is.
realize the chaos. Having 1 boy, I realize the chaos. I can't imagine 6.
Right? I have 2 boys myself, and I can tell you that it's all about how do you burn them? How do you burn that energy low so they can sleep at night? Love it. So obviously you've had a great deal of success. In fact, I'm looking at success right behind you as having that gym. Build it, then they will come, right? Tell us a little bit about what you actually attribute your performance success to.
Oh man, we've definitely been blessed in what we've done. We luckily from the beginning have had a great team surrounded me. I competed as an individual for 4 years, but it's been a team event from the business side of it from the beginning. And we've had people come and go and help build for a while, and then move on or do something else. And but it's not me. It takes a bunch of different people, and I guess. Realizing that, hey, you're not, you may be the best at working out, but you're not the best at some other things, and realizing that and allowing others to kind of pick up in the areas of specialty or their specialty. And that's one thing in the last, year or so. For a long time, we did really well with the skeleton crew, but we've grown quite a bit over the last probably 6 months to a year, and realizing, hey, more people, makes the load lighter. And it's been really good. You met Rory and talked to Rory. He's been a big asset. We brought in kind of a COO to kind of run the daily operations, Brian, and great media team, all kinds of stuff. So just trying to stay on top of all of that stuff. And so, like I said, you got Trice. Trice was trying to jump up in here and then decided.
Of course, who wouldn't want to be on the podcast with us, right?
And now he's trying to unplug a light behind us, and so he's a disaster. We call him Trice-nado, Trice-aster, Trice-manian devil, any of those things.
Well, this is part of your success. Is now you're starting to see your adjusted reality.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
This is fun. So. Well, let's talk about this. There is the statement, the fittest man alive. And as I was watching the Netflix documentary, it was actually noted that you could be the fittest man in history. Tell me, how does that feel?
I think that's more of a CrossFit tagline, and kind of with CrossFit, their definition of fitness is, you're not the best at any one thing. You're kind of balanced across all domains. And so I think that's more their tagline. It is what it is. There's probably people out there that are better at fitness or better at some things that just haven't been tested. But it's allowed us to do some really cool things. Like we said, we're here without any of those titles or any of the stuff that we've done or the platform that we've grown. We wouldn't be able to do any of this stuff. And, really what it comes down to for me is I get to do what I love every day. And 9 times out of 10, if my kids want to come with me or want to hang out, they can hang out and be around, which is great. You see the gym in the background here, but we have a barn at the house that's about 5,000 square feet, and it's 75 to 100 yards from the house. So if the kids want to hang, they want to hang, and I want them there with me as much as I can. So all those titles and stuff are great. And, like I said, I get to do what I love for a living. But it really, for me, comes down to the family side of it. And I get to spend a ton of time with them. So it's been great.
Rich, I love how humble you are. And I think that's a fabulous trait that most of the people we have on Adjusted Reality are, that they're the top of their game and they do the best they can with the gifts that they've been given, and they're humble. And it's so refreshing to see that in today's social media environment. I have to ask you, though, there has been a lot of injuries throughout the years in CrossFit for different people, but you seem to be almost like a titan. Like there's like a gladiator who just won't stop. Can you tell me how in your athletic career, How do you think you manage to be so strong and not have to be set back? Because my son right now is watching some of his favorite football teams, and there's so many injuries. Tell me what you think about how you keep yourself so strong.
Yeah, I think, when you were talking about social media, we always show the good side of things and, our highlights, and that's what people want. But yeah, I mean, there are days where you feel beat up. The biggest thing for me is trying to, we talk humble, but you still have a little bit of ego when it's, you want to lift, you want to get back to those things, but you have a little nagging thing. So over the years, there's been times in my career where I've done a really good job of listening to my body and not, pressing the envelope when I can't. But then there's been times where, little things start to just add up over time, and they keep getting worse, and you get frustrated and you try different things. And, we're talking about being adjusted on a podcast, but I've been going to a chiropractor since, I think I was like 11 or 12 years old. I go to a chiropractor as well as a DO. Honestly, I think I credit a lot of that. Moving well, trying to move as well as I can, and make sure my body is in the right positions, but also regular maintenance for sure. But like I said, just at times I've done a lot better of listening to my body and making sure that I'm not doing things that are going to hurt it worse. But then there's been some times where I'm like, in competition is way different versus actual training. The only, I guess, major injury you could say that I've had is a torn meniscus, and that was in 17. So, other than that, everybody has little gremlins that you kind of have going around. You got to, warm them up a little bit better and do those things. That's something that I'm learning as I age, is a way more emphasis on the warming up portion of it. And, we talked about the diet piece. That's something that I'm actually working on as well. So over the last couple of years, I've really tried to own that in and try to eat a lot more greens and a lot more fruits and vegetables. So
well done. Now you have children, right? You have
that's
to
right.
in pass to say, hey, you might not like this, but you're going to eat it anyway.
Do as I say, not as I do. Yeah,
that's right. So this is a really interesting topic, and I have spoke to Jerry Rice, and he said without chiropractic care, it probably would have ended his career 8 years earlier. Yep. And hearing you say that you get that maintenance and you get that tune-up, so to speak, to ensure that things are working in the right way is really positive, and I think it's part of a fitness journey. What I want to ask you, though, I want to dig deep, because in psyche of sports, there are some things where you just got to push past it. Mm-hmm. I want to ask you to think about the time when you weren't injured, but your body wants to stop. Tell me how you listen to your body, and what are some of the finer finesse pieces where you're like, no, I'm stopping. And when are the times where you're like, I have to go full bore and I'm doing it?
Yeah. I would echo Jerry's opinion, I guess. The after 17, I had about 18 months where my knee it just did not react well to the surgery, and there's a disconnect, I feel like, in training. There's obviously discomfort, can't breathe, those types of things. You got to kind of push past those things. I guess a sharp pain or something like that is something that's completely different, that you need to kind of shut it down. I've had people here, we always tell people, hey, you gotta leave the ego at the door. And got a really good friend that, he's really sore in his bicep, whatever, doing some stuff, warming up. And we're like, hey, you shouldn't climb that rope. You shouldn't do it. It's not good for you. Next thing you smell some tiger balm, and you're like, he's like, this feels better. And sure enough, pops that bicep. And so you're like, we told you numerous times, and you only tell people so much, and they're not going to listen. So yeah, I think it's being in tune with your body and knowing the difference between a sharp pain. It's most of the time some type of injury, and, something that you're just kind of like, should I keep pushing, with my knee? It's still not 100%. And so there's days where I'm like, that's a little stiff, but kind of push past, warm it up real good, get the blood flowing in there, get some synovial fluid moving around. And it 9 times out of 10, when I get done, I'm like, oh, all right, we're back to feeling good. So movement, we always use the metaphor, movement is medicine, because, I feel like we're created to move. The more I move, the better I feel. And everybody asks, do I have full rest days? I try not to take a full rest day, because I feel better physically and mentally if I move somehow, some way every day.
Oh, you just said music to my ears, because motion is part
Yep.
of daily living, and we heal by mobility, and we actually can start to see ourselves gain flexibility and stability when we're moving. And especially our older people that out there that are listening, I want you to recognize that the more you move, the better you get. The less you move, the harder it is to
Harder
keep
it
those
is.
stretching and
Yep.
flexibility. Most importantly, balance. And that's one of the things that we quickly are starting to become aware of in the science is our balance naturally starts to decrease over time. And I can see that you're a man on the move all the time.
Yeah.
And I like that. And I want our audience to really recognize being healthy means you have to be mobile. You have to really push yourselves, even on those days where you're feeling sore, you've worked out really hard,
Yep.
just get some fluids moving along. There's a question that over time, as I've seen and been in the CrossFit tents and treated with some of the other healthcare professionals, is while you're in competition, while you're actually all geared up and ready to go, your mind is focused on it. I've seen people come in the tent with their hands bloody and they want to see the chiropractor, and the chiropractor's like, first we got to take care of the blood,
Yeah.
because
Yep. Yep.
that's first and foremost. But I see the impact that being at the CrossFit Games and having your team there, your healthcare ready to go team. Can you share a little bit about what that means to you when you know that you need to perform at your optimum, having your team behind you?
Yeah, you definitely want somebody that one knows your body and knows kind of what your issues are. For me, there's always some certain things that are, just either bad movement patterns over the years that I'm still trying to fix, or, just kind of nagging things like that knee and how we've treated it in the past. So just somebody who's familiarity with, who's, got some miles with.
Knowing that being mobile and being properly in alignment is a key component to being on your fitness journey. Can you give our listeners 3 actionable steps that you would tell them to get started? Some may be just totally beginning, and others may be like ramping it up and in the mentality of go for gold. Tell us what you would do on the beginnings. Some three steps that would help them move forward in their journey.
Yeah, I lead this. This is my biggest thing is have fun, enjoy what you do. A lot of people get into working out or doing fitness stuff, and if you want to compete and do those types of things, that's one thing. But if you're doing it just to get healthy, enjoy it. Like find something. It doesn't have to be CrossFit. I think CrossFit is for everybody, but not everybody is for CrossFit. And so I don't care what you do as long as you're getting up and moving around. And that's why my wife doesn't really do much CrossFit. She'll do some of our body weight stuff here. But I'm like, I don't care, but it's better for you to move, And so have some fun, find something you enjoy, find something you like to move, find some people you like to hang out with while working out. So that's my big thing is fun. Consistency is huge. Get in there, get going. Like you're saying, a lot of people, when they get in the first couple of days, they get super sore and they usually stop. Keep moving, keep doing it. Usually, if you keep moving through the soreness, that soreness will dissipate, but then it also kind of shortens how long it's going to take to bounce back. And then I know we are an adjustment podcast, but mobility, finding somebody that could do some adjusting on you, making sure you're moving right, either a PT, ATC, like an athletic trainer, chiropractor, somebody that's going to help you out, make sure you're in line, make sure you're moving right, or a coach, some type of, like here at CrossFit Mayhem, we try to keep our class sizes, 1 to 10. So there's, some eyes watching, moving around when we're doing some heavy lifting. We're making sure coaches have some eyes, and we're trying to see and correct and do those types of things, because that's usually when people get hurt, is if you're not doing something correctly or you're trying to do more than what you're capable of. And so part of that's that mobility. If you're not moving well, it's not gonna end well usually.
I absolutely love what you just said there, because those are 3 actionable steps, whether you're a beginner or an elite athlete, that everybody should really be paying attention to. In my world, if you're not having fun, why are you doing it? So Exactly. Thank you, Rich. I had a ton of fun today. Speaking of fun, you're a great guy. Our audience, I know, will absolutely enjoy and hopefully will be able to continue their fitness journey as successful as you have. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for tuning in to Adjusted Reality as we spoke to Rich Froning about leveling up your fitness journey, where you take away 3 things of importance in your fitness journey after speaking with Rich Froning today. First and foremost, have fun. Life is really short, and we need you to enjoy what you do. Second, move. Even when you've had those tough workouts and your body is sore, keep moving. And last but not least, keep in balance. And finding a great healthcare provider is key to preventing injuries. Well, this podcast was brought to you by the Foundation for Chiropractic Progress. Don't forget to subscribe, share the podcast with friends, rate, and review. If you're feeling so inspired to learn more about chiropractic or to find a chiropractor near you, visit f4cp.org/find-a-doctor. We appreciate your support and look forward to checking in with you again soon.